is up, guys? Here I am. We're doing a new little segment here. This is going to be called the Arena Review, and this is going to be where I talk about Board Game Arena, the games that I've played there, new games that are out on Board Game Arena, and what I want to play on Board Game Arena, and possibly what I can get you guys to play with me. So, welcome. I am Paul, half of Dads and Dice, and yeah, we're going to try something new. First thing is you will see I have a new overlay. Hey Ian, thanks for joining us, and it looks like that overlay is working with the chat there. Oops, just turned it off. But there it is. Let me actually just move it just a little bit to make it look a little bit better. But yeah, so we are here and we're going to try something new. Lost Faith. Hey Pat, I worked 20 hours. I'm up to say hi. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Get some rest. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think it looks okay. So I was texting Devin earlier that I was messing with kind of the stream, and I said, you know, if this looks good, maybe we do this for our monthly reviews, for all that kind of stuff. So let us know how it looks in the comments, and if we'll keep it, we'll keep it. If not, we won't. So like I mentioned, we are going to be doing, I forgot what I called it. I just came up with the name and I forgot what I called it. It is the Arena Review, and we're going to be just talking about games that are on Board Game Arena. So, if you are not on Board Game Arena or you don't know what it is, let's go to that page right there. Head into Palo Alto at 4. See ya on Friday, Pat. We will be doing our monthly games from July, so it's a little bit later this month, but that's okay. Well, we'll see you there. Have a good trip. So here we are on Board Game Arena. I have my Chromebook here, or not my Chromebook, my computer here, just so that I can see what we're doing. So here you'll see my Board Game Arena account. And if you don't know anything about Board Game Arena, it's just a website that you can get on and play board games digitally. Now, there's other options like Tabletop Simulator or apps and stuff like that. What I really like about Board Game Arena is that it hard codes the rules into the game. So that way you can't make a rules goof. It just won't let you do that. So it is a great tool to use for learning games and for, you know, just kind of getting used to them and playing them before you actually go out and buy a game. So you can see here you've got kind of these announcements of what games have come out. You've got latest news, all that kind of stuff here. So let's just kind of get into the games that I have been playing lately. So the first one, let me pull up my list here. The first one that I've been playing a ton of is Trailblazers. And so Trailblazers, this is actually a game that I owned the physical copy of first, and then later ended up getting started playing it on BGA. Let me do something here really quickly, just make some adjustments over here. Okay, so Trailblazers is a game published by Bitewing Games. And it's basically a card-laying game, in a way like tile placement, right? And you have these camps, and actually let me pull this up here. And so we're going to actually see if we can find a game that is in session. Let me go back and do real-time games, not turn-based. Not sure exactly how to do this. Again, this is a new format, so I'm kind of learning. I was hoping that we could see some real-time games in action. There might not be any. Let's just go ahead and pick this one here, and then we'll kind of just talk about it. So what you have is this play area, And of course, nobody has done anything on this one yet, so we're going to have to choose another one. Oh, I guess those are at 0%. Here's one that's at 33%. So you have this play area, and you have these different camps, right? So you have a brown camp, which is the hiking camp. You have this red one, which is the biking shack. And then you have a blue one. Maybe this person played it yet. You have a blue one that's the kayaking track or a campsite. And so you have these little 1x2 cards, and these cards will basically be played out in any direction that you want, right? So you can place them vertically, you can place them horizontally. And you're going to try to make a trail from the camp, and then it's going to eventually, hopefully, lead back to the camp, like this red one right here. So it's got a nice little short trail. Now, to score points, you're going to be counting these little rocks, these little darker spots, whatever they are, waterfalls, bridges, all that kind of stuff. And anytime you count one of those, that's how many points that trail is worth. So for example, this one right here is worth 2 because you have this little bridge and then these little rocks. So that is a 2-point trail. Now, you will get 8 cards per turn, and you're going to look at them, you're going to keep 2 of them, and you'll play both of them on your turn, then you will pass those cards to the next player. There are also some end game goals and then some in-game goals, so during the game. So like for example, this one is to have confined quarters, so you want 2 camps with no empty spaces around them. So you can see this person is working on that. He is trying to get it confined, trying to get those spaces nice and together. This person is a little bit closer to it. He's just missing 2 spots there. This one is the trail hugs. This is 2 trail types, each encircling another camp. So it looks like 2 trail types, each encircling another camp. Oh, so you have this one trail coming off of this camp, and it's going to circle this one, and then you have this trail coming off that camp and encircling that one. So it's kind of this spatial puzzle of just where am I going to put things, how am I going to lay it out, and can I make them come back to me. So this is one that I've thoroughly enjoyed. I absolutely have been loving playing this one solo on BGA just because on the solo it's just reach a certain amount of points, which the highest level is 50 victory points, and then it starts off easy and then it gets harder. So the first one is you have to have 4 hiking trails coming off the camp, and you'll score victory points that way. So I haven't been able to complete that 4th scenario yet, but it's awesome to play this digitally just because it gets done super quickly. So let's go ahead and go back here to the main page. So that is Trailblazers, one that I've really enjoyed. So next up, we have Forever Home, and I can't spell. Where is it? Forever Home. Another game that I actually had the physical copy of first, and another tile laying, pattern making style game. So I have a game currently going on of this one right now with Ian. So taught him this game I say I taught him. We kind of just played it and he kind of figured it out as we were going. But we've got this one going on, and this is a pretty good one. I really like this one. It's an easy, cozy kind of game, but it does have a lot of strategy in it. So this is Forever Home, and in Forever Home, you have these dogs that you are trying to train, and then once you train them, you are going to send them off to foster homes, to the countryside, to the suburbs, or to the cities. And then you'll score victory points based on where you send them. So you'll see these so on your turn, you'll do 2 actions. And those 2 actions, you can read it right up here. It says you must take 1 dog, take 1 card, or move a dog. So you can take one of these dogs here and place it on your player board somewhere. You can take a card and have it in your hand. or you can move a dog. So if you messed up somewhere placing one of these dogs, you can move it somewhere adjacently. So what you'll do is once you complete one of these patterns, so for example on this one, you need one dog of one color and then two of the same color in this kind of triangle pattern. On this one you need one color, another color, a blank space, then the same color, and then the same first color. Here you just need two of the same next to each other. So in the little heart down here in the bottom, that's how many victory points this card is worth. And then on the top, that's how many dogs you will rehome from that pattern. So this person doesn't seem to be working anything there. Let's see if we can go to the other player's board. And I'm not sure what they're working on either. Probably something in their hand. But once they complete one of these patterns, they'll rehome the dogs, and you'll decide if you want to send it to the city, to the suburbs, the countryside, or the foster home. And each of those score differently. So, for example, on the countryside, you need, for every pair of the same color dog, you get 3 victory points. Here, if you have a purple dog, it's 1. If you have a purple and a green, it's 3. If you have a pink, a purple, and a green, it is 6. Here, for how many ever sets you have, so of different dogs. So if you have 5 different dogs, that's 9 victory points, so on and so forth. You can have multiple. It says these cards cannot be completed and scored more than once. Okay, so you can only score that one once. Here there's some other scoring conditions. So here's most in training. So what that means is if you leave the most of that color on your board, so if this game were to end right now, this person has 2 yellows on their board. Each yellow on your board would be worth 3 victory points. Here, this is the most rehomed. So if you have the most blue dogs that are rehomed, so this person currently has 2 rehomed blue dogs. This one has none. They would be getting the most victory points for that. Red is 2, orange is 1. And then here, most in different homes. So you've got purple and green. So you want the most purple in different homes or green in different homes. So it's just different ways to place those and making these patterns. First person to complete 7 training cards is going to be the winner, and that's Forever Home. Like I said, I have this physical copy. I really do enjoy it. I like playing it digitally. Again, I'm going to say that for all these. It plays very quickly. There is no fiddliness here on BGA, obviously. The physical board, you might knock it here and there. That's really kind of with any tile placement game. But I really like this one. Also on these boards here, there's an opposite side, and it's the advanced side. And a couple of these grid spots, they give you different things like move. If you cover it, you can move another dog somewhere, or you can switch a dog on your board with one that's up on the trail, something like that, or up on the track. So that is Forever Home, one that I really enjoy. Glad I joined in, totally spaced out the card scoring on top by the end of our first game. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly easy to miss on there, but it's on there. So that is Forever Home, Birdwood Games. Really great one. And like I said, I do own the physical one of this game as well, but I really do enjoy this digital implementation. What else do we have here? Okay, another one, and this one I'm very excited about. This is My City Roll and Build. So I have My City somewhere. I don't know where. But My City is a campaign game designed by Reiner Knizia, and it is a legacy game. I say campaign, it's a legacy game that plays over, it was either 21 or 24 different sessions or different scenarios. And so that one was a polyomino tile placement game. And so you would have this kind of city in the middle with this river, and you were changing it up, putting stickers on there, all that kind of stuff. So that is My City, the original. This one is a dice version of the game. So this person is playing it. We'll see if anything happens on here. But you can play the entire campaign here on BGA. Now, I'm going to attempt to play the entire campaign on here solo, just because while my wife does play games with me, it's hard to get her to play consistently. Um, and I can't start a campaign game with Devin because that's all we would play for forever. So we can't do that. So I'm going to try to do this one solo. And I did play the first episode a couple weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. So let me see. I'm going to see if I can find another one here, one that has some stuff on there. But you have these two dice, and with these two dice, let's see if this one works. There's different shapes. And so these shapes will determine what kind of shape you're going to make on your player board, right? So here, it's going to be this 2 and 1 kind of L shape. And just like on my city, you're going to have to place it next to the river, and then you're going to have to place it next to another marked spot. I don't know why this one isn't showing. Yeah, not sure why this isn't showing. Maybe because I haven't played the other episodes and it doesn't want to spoil it. I don't know. Not sure. But you have different building types as well, and those buildings give you kind of different abilities. What I like about this is it gives you right here the probabilities of that shape that you were going to get. So here's the probabilities with the compass, here's without the compass. As you can see up here, it says during this round the compass is ignored. So it just kind of gives you different ways to play the game, and just different possibilities of what the dice is going to give you. Ian, you've played this a few times, but you don't know what you were doing as a campaign, co-op, or competitive. So I'm just playing it solo right now, but from my city, that was a competitive legacy game. So you would score points at the end of the round. So here it says scoring during this episode. So you must start at the river. If you cannot construct a building, it's minus this many points. At the end, each tree that is uncovered, so if I were to build around this tree and I have these trees uncovered, that's a victory point. You must cover your rocks. So these are the rocks. So if you have those covered, it's no points. But if you have them uncovered, it's negative victory points. And then any empty space, negative victory points, and number of buildings in the largest group of each building. So you just want large groups of buildings. So let's say you had 4 here. That would be 4 victory points. So you would compare yours to the other people, and then you would score points. And then later on, there's more scoring conditions. Like I know on the My City, the normal one, the original one, eventually you were mining into these mountains and collecting gold. You were cutting down the trees to get wood and send them off on a kind of the railway. So the game is just going to kind of progress. And again, I don't know much about this roll and build one, but I do know that it changes. With this one, you're going to be adding stickers to your dice as well. So you can make those probabilities of the shapes that you want to come out a little bit higher depending on where you place those stickers. So yeah, that is My City Roll and Build. It's going to be one that I'm hopefully going to play through the entire campaign here on BGA. It's probably going to take me a little bit of time. I say that. The first episode really didn't take that long. It took about 15 minutes. And it looks like there's 12 campaigns, 12 episodes for the full campaign, something like that. So might not take that long. We'll see. But yeah, that's a fun one. I really did enjoy that one. And I considered buying this one, but if I can get the full experience here on BGA, I might just do it there. And then maybe eventually, just kind of pick it up and go from there. So, all right. Up next, Ticket to Ride. This is everybody knows Ticket to Ride. You should know Ticket to Ride. Actually, at work the other day, I introduced some people to BGA. They were talking about how they're getting into board games and stuff like that, and I said, "Oh well, let's get you this BGA account, and we can play some games digitally." And so we did, and then the first game that they wanted to play was Ticket to Ride. So, Ticket to Ride, here's some live ones. This one has the expansion on it. So, of course, they have all the expansions, or a lot of the expansions. Wow, I can't talk. Oh, that one was about to start. I'm trying to find one with some trains on there already. Here's 16% progression. Okay, so on Ticket to Ride, if you don't know anything about it, basically what's going to happen is at the start of the game you're going to be drawn some tickets, and you're going to keep some of those tickets. Those are kind of your end game goals that you're going to want to do, and it's going to be connecting cities. So maybe it could be something like connecting Miami to Toronto, or connecting Los Angeles to Salt Lake City, something small like that. It could be connecting Los Angeles to Toronto. It could be something very long. So on your turn, you can do one of two things, or one of three things. First thing you can do is just collect cards here from the row, get them to your hand. There's no hand limit. Or once you have a certain amount of a color, so for example here, from Chicago to Omaha, if I had 4 blues, I would be able to play 4 blues and lay my tracks down there, connecting Chicago to Omaha. Eventually you're wanting to connect your cities that you have your tickets for. Down here there's this kind of little scoring track that shows how much points you get for laying trains and for the length of those trains. So for example, this one here from Nashville to Atlanta is just a single train that's worth 1 victory point. Up here from Montreal to New York, that is 3 trains, and that's worth 4 victory points. So obviously the longer the trains, the more victory points you get. Once you've completed your goals, or you want more, you can always click on the destination deck, and you can draw more, having to take at least one of them. So if there's stuff that you don't like, you still have to take one, and it is negative victory points if you do not score those. So you can see here, green has connected from New York all the way here to Seattle. Red is going from Sault Ste. Marie all the way down here to New Orleans. Whenever somebody has 2 trains left, that triggers the end of the game. Everybody else has one more turn to kind of do whatever you want. So to score, it's your trains that have been laid out. It is your destination tickets that have been done. It is negative points if you haven't completed any of them. And then it's 10 victory points for whoever has the longest section of trains. Had a ton of fun playing this one. It's really good. I do like playing this one real time and fast, like this game is going. Personally, I have the Ticket to Ride app on my phone. I like playing that much better because it is much faster. Actually, this game is really good. I'm really liking this. This is kind of more my speed. But just playing this one in person, it takes a long time. It's really fiddly. So for Ticket to Ride, I'm either just going to play the app or here on Board Game Arena. But yeah, that is a Ticket to Ride. I'm not sure, but let's check. Let's see what expansions they have on here. Go to game. Oh, I don't want that game. Let's go back. Let's just look. Because I'm actually really interested in what game or what expansions are there. 1910, the Mega Game, and the Big Cities. So I'm not sure what those ones are. Ian, you might know what those ones are. If you do, drop something there in the chat. All right. Up next, we have cartographers. As you guys know, I love cartographers. It is my favorite roll and flip and flip and write game, where you have a map. Everybody has the same map. Excuse me. And this map uh, needs to be filled in with the terrains here, right? So you have these 4 edict cards, and this is how you're going to be scoring every round. So the game is played over 4 rounds. So the first round, you are going to be playing A and B. So in this case, it's the broken road, which is having spaces filled from the left to the bottom side of the board. So this person, right now, they would have 3 points here, 6, 9, 12. B is Stoneside Forest, and that's connecting mountains using forests. This person has done it 1, 2, 3, and they're working on their 4th one right there. The Golden Granary is having 3 victory points if you have a farm on the temple, or 1 victory point if you have water on the temple. Michael, thanks for being here. I just played a terrible game of cartographers. The cards are mostly forest and monsters. Our scores were dismal. Yeah, I've definitely had some very terrible games from cartographers. But anyway, on here, so you've got your timer of the round. So each card has these numbers on here. Once you reach a sum of this, the round ends. You move on to the next round. I really like the digital implementation of this one. Again, I like playing this one solo on here, but kind of going back to Michael's point of the ordering of the cards can be terrible. It really makes or breaks the game, and I guess that's just kind of cartographers in general. Now, I didn't know this, I didn't realize this, but for a long time, I thought that these edict cards were specific to the letter. Turns out they're not. Turns out those edicts can go, or these edicts can go anywhere. So I had always thought that these ones here, the broken road, I always thought that those would be with D. And they have some weird coloring on the back of the cards. And I thought that would always go there. And then I thought like the forest and the water were always the first ones. And then the village was kind of towards the end. I forget exactly the order because I've been playing it the right way now. But it feels pretty bad when you have terrain ones or something like this at the beginning of the game. Or the one that's like have completed rows and columns. That's very hard to do the very first round of the game. And you're not going to score a ton of points. So that is one thing with the game. It can have very different results depending on the cards that come out. So it's really hard to kind of compare how you did this game to a previous game. Let's see what expansions are on this one. I think they implemented this one really well here on BGA. It's actually just got pushed out of beta at the beginning of July. So it was fairly new to Board Game Arena, and I've definitely gotten it played a ton on here. Let's see if they have any of the expansions. They've got Map A and Map B. So they've just got the different maps. Map B just has a giant pit, is what it's called, in the middle of it, and it makes it kind of hard to, or it just makes it different to put can't talk. It makes it different for where the cards can go. I figured out which one I'm going to almost ignore during the game. Also, I make sure I can score as many points as possible on the first edict in the season. So I think that first one, I think that A card is probably the most important because you have the entire game to build it up. So if you can get a ton of points from it at the beginning and then work that the rest of the game also, I think that's a really good strategy. Okay. Almost done here with the games that I have been playing. The next one up is Draft and Write Records. Ian taught me this game, so I appreciate you teaching me this one, Ian. We actually hopped on a stream and he taught it for me, taught it to me. So Draft and Write Records is a drafting card game, a draft and right, I guess is what you would call it. Kind of in your way like Welcome to. But let's go to a game and see what it looks like. So you have this deck here, and this deck gives you different card types. So there's 3 main sections on your board. You have your crew here, and your crew is made up of your singer, your guitarists, your percussions, or maybe this is your producer, and then your stage crew. You have over here, I forget which one is which, but one of them is your assets, and then one of them is your agenda. And so on each one of these cards, Ian says, I agree it's very important, but it's the most important in the final season. Yeah, I would agree with that. The final season is the most important. So you have these 3 different sections of the board. And on the cards, you are going to be getting these pictures, right? So this person here has this, we're going to say that's a moon. What does this say? Oh, those are just the cards that the person's drafted. So you have this moon, he's drafted this radio, another radio, a mobile phone. This one was either or. This is a guitarist. Here's your producers. Agenda is yellow, assets are the turquoise. Okay. So when you draft these, you're going to be placing them in those sections. So for example, if I drafted this guitar, you have these symbols here, and these are your harmony symbols. I'm not sure exactly what they're called. But what you're trying to do is you are trying to actually match them up here. So this person's not doing a great job at that. Kind of like my last game, but this person would want a yellow or a blue here to match up with this blue. Over here, you'd want a yellow. Here you can see he has a yellow, so he wants his singer to have a yellow on the top, right? In these assets, this person just did it, or agendas. Nope, assets. He had I think that's a heart, and over here was the radio. So he crossed both of those off, so he gets this bonus in the middle. This game is all about bonuses. It is just bonus after bonus after bonus, and marking stuff off. So the things that you can mark off are things like money, multipliers, albums, and singles, I think is what it is. Maybe it's hits. Once you unlock your money, you can start placing more crew members. You can start paying more crew members. So the moon is actually a speech bubble inside of a circle. No one pointed to that. That's a very interesting symbol for it to be a speech bubble. I don't see it still. It's a speech bubble inside of a circle. Oh, I see it. I see it right there. Interesting. I'm just going to say it's a moon because a moon makes more sense. But you'll be crossing off things like that, and then just scoring victory points at the bottom. So like this person here, they made a harmony, right? They connected their reds. And so that means that they can come down here on this red and cross off something on there. If you get columns, you get 5 victory points, or 10 for these ones. If you get rows, you get 15 victory points. Scoring over here, you are going to score, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Ian, but it's you have to have both the hits and the albums completed in order to score that column. You can get multipliers, so you can select one of these for your next card, I believe is what it is, to get more victory points for that. And then, of course, you have some kind of during game goals. So for here, you want to reach these, you want to tour to these different places. Nippon Budokan and a stadium. So you'll want to unlock some of these orange symbols and kind of tour down here. So here's the stadium, and here's Nippon Budokan. Singles times albums is the scoring. So And then this one is you want the 4 inner squares here. So this person almost has that. 3 cell phones, 2 complete harmonies for your musicians. And then, of course, you have your own kind of personal scoring that you can do throughout the game. So this game is just tons of combos, and it feels really good if you have played it correctly. It also feels very bad if you have not played it correctly, which on my latest game of this, I did not play it correctly, and it felt very bad. I don't even want to say my score. I think in the single digits, maybe maybe 15ish at most, somewhere around there. But it's a fun one. This one is definitely one that I want to try in person, um, because there are tons of symbols. A lot of my board gaming here on Board Game Arena is done on my cell phone. Um, so I don't have like the best view of it, which is generally why I play lighter games on Board Game Arena. But this is one that I definitely want to try out in person, just to see, just to try to really get the feel for the game. But if you're into roll and writes or draft and writes, whatever adjective and write, this is one that I highly recommend. And this is a great example of playing a game here on Board Game Arena and then wanting to try the real thing. Okay, and then finally, I played A Feast for Odin. Even on my laptop, the symbols are hard to see. Much easier on the tabletop. Yeah, I can see that 100% for sure. So, at the beginning of July, I actually played A Feast for Odin on my table. I have the game right back here. I've shown it a couple times. Devin and I have talked about this being one of our favorite games of all time. So I was actually going to play the solo of this game, and I had never played it solo before. So I decided to, instead of reading the rule book like I should, which I did eventually, but before I read the rule book, I decided, you know what, let me just go onto the solo here and just try to mess around with it, because it's not going to let me do anything wrong. That way I can get the feel for it, and then later I can go to the rule book. So I did just that. And let's look at A Feast for Odin. Now, talking about a game that has tons of stuff on it, this one is terrible on your cell phone. Better on the computer, but you really do have to know this game before you can play it digitally. Let's see. So, this person's on the last round. Actually, this person is done with the game, it looks like. Let's pick a different one. Let's go here. This person's probably almost done with it as well. Okay, a little bit better. So you have workers. This is just a worker placement game with 40 odd some shapes, 40 something shapes. I'm sorry, 40 something spaces. This person is playing solo. So good example for what I was saying. I think this person's playing solo. Yeah, looks like it. So you have all these spaces. So on your turn, you're going to have a certain amount of workers, and you're going to place them either in this first, second, third, or fourth column. If you play it on this first column, it's 1 worker. Second column's 2, 3, and 4. If you play the 3 and the 4, you get other benefits of either playing a card or drawing a card, which just give you other abilities. And then they're broken up pretty easily. So up here, you're basically trading to get more stuff. So either a new tile, more ships. Right here, you are hunting, which is getting some type of red or green tile. Here, you're doing some type of livestock. Yui likes his farming, and so of course he's going to do some type of farming in there. The next one is like the weekly market, so it's a way for you to get oranges. Here's just reds. So anyway, they're broken up pretty easy. Here you're doing your raiding and your pillaging. So once you're gathering these tokens, you are then placing them on your board in specific patterns, right? You can't have greens next to each other. Um, on these tiles, you can have reds and oranges. You can't over here. You can get new islands, and with those islands covered up to increase your income. So obviously, honestly, there's a lot going on in this game, but it was really good for me to just be able to refresh the actual gameplay and learn the solo. Not learn, but kind of walk through the solo a little bit. The only difference between the solo and the multiplayer game is you have these different color workers. So you can see here there's black and there's white. So on the next turn, this person is going to get their, I'm sorry, I said white, the yellow. So this person is going to get their yellow workers back, and they're going to leave the black workers there. So this round, they were playing the black workers, and then on the next round, they're going to play the yellow workers. So the previous round is going to stay out there, and those are going to block those spaces, so he can't use them the next time. So that was really good, just a good way to do it. Like I said, you definitely have to know what you're doing on this game to play it on BGA, because there's all these tabs over here that open up things like this pillaging board or foraging board, either one. Here is the whaling boats, the narboats, the long ships, different tiles, all the different tiles that are in the game. You have the actual breakdown of the rounds. You have all the different boards that you can add on there. So there's a lot to this game, but I really enjoyed it because it, like I said, it did help me just kind of refresh my memory a little bit and get to play a Feast for Odin. So that was good. All right. So that is all of the stuff that I played on Board Game Arena last month. And now kind of want to talk about some stuff that I want to play this month. So with that being said, I just want to send out an open invitation to anybody to add me on Board Game Arena. My username is Paul_dadsanddice. And if you want to play a game with me, if you want to play a game that you know, if you want to teach me one of these games, I'd be happy to do that as well. Just know that, like I said, most of the time I'm playing on my phone, so it's not always the best. But if you want to add me on there, go ahead. And these are the games that I'm interested in playing. So, first up, High Seasons. This is Austria Grand Hotel, the roll and write version. So designed by Luciani, Gigley, and Hendrickson. Let's see if we can actually get to the game. Yep, there it is. So again, this is the Grand Austria Hotel roll and write version. I've not played Grand Austria Hotel. I want to. I want to play it. I want to try it. But I know this is kind of a simplified version of it, obviously, because it's a roll and write. So I think this would be a good way to kind of go into that first. But in Grand Austria Hotel, you have dice, and it's a dice kind of action selection, I think, or maybe worker placement in a way. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure, but you're rolling the dice, and those dice are telling you if you can feed the guest, or some of the guests might want coffee or whatever, and that's letting you get that for them. So the theme kind of integrates there in a little bit. But again, I don't know too much about it. I saw this one come up here, and I just kind of want to give it a try. I think there's a tutorial on here, I think it said. Let me see. That's another cool thing. You can link videos on there. Play. Maybe over here. Yeah, so learn. So there's a learn on there. So maybe I will do that at some point. But this is one that kind of caught my eye. I saw the Brothers Murph got this game not too long ago in their collection. They kind of talked about it quite a bit, or they raved about it quite a bit. So I don't know. It's one that I want to try. It says 20 minutes to play, so that's not bad. Complexity 3 out of 5, so kind of right there, mid-range. But yeah, that is the first one that I want to try. Second one that I would like to try is, where are they? River of Gold. Don't know much about River of Gold. I know that it was released within the last, definitely within the last month. I want to say within the last couple of weeks. But it says players take on the role of river merchants allied with legendary samurai clans, trying to exploit the river. Will you invest in developing ports, market shrines, or will you rely upon sailing the River of Gold, growing your wealth and influence through contracts? Don't forget that this will be the first Euro game from the Legend of Five Rings series. Oh, so it's going to be the first of 5 games. Kind of cool. So let's look at this one. I don't know anything about it. This one just kind of caught my eye. So haven't looked at it. Don't know what kind of game it is. Looks like it's published this year, so it's a brand new game. Let's see what it looks like. So, okay, we've got this board here. Rolling a die, getting a 5, the building rows refilled. Taking action with that die. So looks like you got your point track on the side. Some type of movement track here. It's a very busy board, I'll tell you that, and a very long board. Looks like you're just delivering kind of resources. These contracts say deliver to 3 different customer types: artisan, elder, merchant, monk, noble. Reach the flower in any region. Own 3 buildings of the same type. Okay. I don't think there's like any resources or anything. So it looks like you're just kind of getting stuff and delivering to places, maybe on these rivers, and then building stuff out on there. Not sure. Looks interesting. Looks like something I'll try. Again, not sure anything about it. So if you do know something about what is this called? Rivers of Gold. River of Gold. I'd like to try it out. Looks good. Becca Scott video. There's the rules on there. Yeah, this was just released this year. Very cool. Anyway, that is River of Gold. And then finally, the last one that I would like to try is, can't spell, Forest Shuffle. No, I take that back. It's not the last one. Second to last one. I have not played Forest Shuffle ever. Joe from Board Games for Two and his wife Shelby said that this is a terrific game. They both really enjoyed it. I've actually talked to Ian about it. He said that he really enjoyed it. I believe that was what you had said about it. If I'm wrong, correct me. But it just looks nice, and it's just a game that I've never had the opportunity to play. So from my understanding is you kind of have this card river up here, or this place where you can draft cards. You have your tree, your starting tree, and then you are placing these different cards underneath them, to the side of them, on top of them, and just kind of building out this ecosystem, right? So here, this one says it's worth 5 acorns if at least 3 different bat species, or 5 victory points, sorry. This one is 5 victory points, same thing, if you have 3 bat species. This one is 5 points per fully occupied tree, so if the tree is completely occupied. So it's just little, score this if this, score this if that. And it's just a game that looks really interesting. Honestly, the artwork is beautiful on it. Surprised I haven't played this one yet, but this is one that I want to try out. So if you know it, let me know it. Ian says, intrigued by River's Gold as well. It's been covered on a few channels already. Might have to go look that up. I haven't seen much coverage about it. Like I said, all I really saw was the picture of it on Board Game Arena. It looks very nice on there, which is kind of why I figured I want to try it. So anyway, that's Forest Shuffle. Forest Shuffle is one that I want to try out, and I'm probably going to play that one at the next con that I go to, just because it looks really nice. And then finally, the last one is For Northwood. Ian enjoys Forest Shuffle. It's going to be tough as there's a lot of cards. Even on my laptop, there's a lot to go over. Well, maybe I'll have to just pick a date and do it on my phone or on the laptop. This last game here, this is For Northwood. It is a solo trick-taking game, and it's the designers of Black Sonata, another solo-only game. Again, this is one that the artwork kind of drew me in a little bit. It's nice and cute. But it is a solo trick-taking game. And funny because you guys have probably heard it before, but I did not grow up playing trick-taking games. I introduced Devin to the crew, and I said, hey, do you know how to play trick-taking games? And he said, yes, I do. And I said, okay, teach me, because that's what kind of game this is. And so it's been interesting to try to learn that the nuances to trick taking, right? Because like there's this secret language that you talk that you have with other people that you've played the game a lot with. So you kind of have this meta of how you play trick-taking games, and I never had that. So this is a solo-only trick-taking game, so it really interests me on how that would be, right? And it's interesting because a trick-taking game in general is supposed to be with multiple players, and so this one is solo. So you've got stuff on here that says like you have the little eyes, and you win against all odds. So if your next response is even, draw a card after responding. If it's odd, instead discard a card. Steve, yeah, it was a pretty funny situation when that happened, because he was just like, wait, that how do you know what that is if you don't even know how to play that? Put the highest value card or cards in your hand into the score pile. So it looks like here you have your hand. You have your discard pile, your score pile, statement pile, the suit of the visiting fifes ruler is considered the highest suit. So it looks like it's just kind of changing the way that the tricks are scored or won. But I do like a solo game. This one seems like one that I could definitely just play on my own. And the best thing, I won't upset people when I do something stupid like I've done multiple times in the crew. And maybe it'll make me better at trick-taking games. So that is it here for what I've played and what I want to play. I did notice that there are this summer chest here, and I've opened up one day, which was a new game that was released, which is Metro. So this game is players putting square tiles onto the board to form rail lines. Interesting. But there are 4 other ones that I haven't opened. So, Framework. I thought this one was already available, because I've definitely played it here on BGA. This is another game that I would like to play this month. If you know Framework, go ahead and add me on there. I would love to play Framework. This is a great game. I will say I do prefer this one physically, just because I like having to look at it a little better. It makes a little bit more sense to me to see the pieces and actually connect them and then be able to move them without clicking. But Framework is a terrific Uwe Rosenberg game, same person that did A Feast for Odin, but a very great tile laying game. So that's Framework. 3, I'm pretty sure we played Framework. Yeah, we definitely played Framework. So I'm kind of surprised what this is. This one is called, what is this? The Shipwreck Arcana. Trapped in a drowned world, you and your allies are doomed. Using a mystical deck and health dose, you can predict each other's fates. Cooperative game of deduction, evaluation, and logic. Interesting. Yes, Steve. Feast for Odin is on BGA. You're going to play it tonight. Yes, A Feast for Odin is here on BGA. You must have just missed it. It was the last one that I went over. It's a lot on BGA, but if you know the game, then you can definitely play it on BGA. Are you playing it solo or multiplayer? We love A Feast for Odin. Here we have Goblin. Oh, this is definitely not English. Goblin des Bois le Jeu. Some French game. Looks like it was published this year. Dear goblins, return the gold to the poor people or keep it to themselves. Join us on our... Interesting. This must be some... What is this? Huh. No idea. That one looks... Let's look at a gameplay in action. Goblin in the Hood. You guys remember that scary movie? Leprechaun in the Hood? You guys remember Leprechaun? Capture. Take the card of the other end of the path, place it face down. Interesting. Don't think I will play this one. But it caught my attention. Goblin Hood. Okay. Maybe like Robin Hood. That's probably what it is. That's probably exactly what it is. Open season. I saw this one released today, and that artwork kind of caught my eye. Published this year. I'm seeing a lot of games that are like being published either to Kickstarter or like published. They're putting them out here on BGA or on. They've been doing Tabletop Simulator for a while, but there's the other one that like doesn't let you mess up. Tabletopia, I think is what it is. Just to kind of get people to play those games before they buy them. So here you play as a monster who has decided to take revenge on the group of adventurers. The game takes place over 9 rounds. Fill the market, 5 face-up cards, take a card, trigger bonus actions associated with the slots on your board. They must complain different people. After 9 rounds, the game ends. What is this? Choosing 2 cards, playing them on your board. Huh. Not sure about that one. And then finally, let's see if we can open up. Was that open season? Let's see if we can open up today's. It is, sorry, we have to wait. Oh, no, there it is. Festivibes. Another card game, Festival Circuits. Another 2024 release. All right. Well, it looks like that is it for this edition of the Arena Review. Hopefully this is something that you guys found interesting. Ooh, I'm going to have to do this fancy transition again. I forgot to take that transition off on that one. So, yeah, that's the what we're calling the Arena Review. Hopefully this is something that you guys enjoyed. Not 100% sure. Devin and I were talking about it and going to add you on Board Game Arena. Ooh, go ahead. Yeah. So I will say Devin does not get on Board Game Arena very often. It is me. So I'll happily play you on there. I'm going to tell you it's probably going to be terrible because especially with a turn-based A Feast for Odin, I generally forget what I'm doing. But I would love to play with you. Yes, Ian, there's going to be a lot of games that we're going to be playing tonight. Or not tonight, but just in general. But yeah, so Devin and I were talking, and we don't really want to incorporate these games, Board Game Arena games, too much into our monthly review, mainly because he doesn't play Board Game Arena as much as I do, and I can get a lot of really quick games in. So we just kind of want to keep that to the physical board games that we play. But we're going to try to do this one, what I've played digitally, really closely to when we do the month in review. And again, my thought is just kind of go over the games that I played, tell you guys what I want to play, and then maybe if there's any like news on there or something like that, just kind of go over it and just kind of see what's going on there. But like I said, anybody out there, open invitation. My username is Paul_dadsanddice, and I would be more than happy to play games with anyone. I do start school back up this week, actually on Wednesday, so I might not do it as much, at least for a week until I get kind of settled in with my schedule. But other than that, I would love to continue playing those games with you guys. So, for everybody that was here, Michael, Steve, Ian, First Genesis, appreciate you guys being here. Pat, good luck on your trip to Palo Alto. But we appreciate you guys being here. Devin and I will be together on Friday. And we will do our week in review. And then Devin will be here on Wednesday, live streaming Lock Up. So it is a role player game based in the same universe as Cartographers, role player, Stone Spine Architects. And so he'll kind of go through that. It is a worker placement game, one that is actually a very good game that we need to play together at some point. So, Steve, you're welcome. We appreciate it. Yeah, Ian, got to keep them. I think got to keep them separate. So that's what we're gonna do for now. If we change it, might change it. We'll see. First Genesis, great stream. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this layout. Not sure if I like it. Not sure if it's too small. I don't know. I was playing with stuff today. I always just like playing with stuff. We might use this for our month in review. We might use it for our live streams. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. But we're just going to keep on keeping on. So appreciate you guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really does help us. Helps our channel grow. And see you guys on, well, Devin will see you guys on Wednesday. And then I'll see you guys on Friday. Have a good night. Talk to y'all later.